Hello everybody, it's DK and welcome back to another redstone tutorial here on the channel. Today we're looking at advanced multi-item sorting systems. This is going to be a very complicated tutorial, but I'm going to do my best to break it down step by step for you. So let's start off today by looking at the supplies that you're going to need. So for today's build, you're going to need some droppers, some hoppers, some chests, some redstone dust, probably a little over a stack, some repeaters, some comparators, some redstone torches, some dispensers, lots of glass, some slabs, some water buckets, an oak sign, some soul sand, and of course some building blocks. I'm using stone brick, as per usual. Alright, and now that we've had a look at our materials, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get cracking. So let's grab our hoppers, our chests, our building blocks, and let's get to work. We're going to start off by making a 3x chest system here. So we're going to go double chest, skip a block, double chest, skip a block, and double chest. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift click and add one of my building blocks on top of each of these. So what I'm going to do now that I have these here is I'm going to go up a total of 8 blocks. So I have this, so this is here. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blocks tall. And I'm going to come and I'm going to do that on each of these. And we're going to do this in sections to try and keep this as simple as possible. Feel free to pause the video if you need to, because I know this one can be a little tricky. So I have 8 blocks total, just like this. The next step is very simple. I'm going to skip a block in between each one, and I'm going to come and I'm going to add my chest in here. And I'm going to start off just by doing this and adding one chest in between each one, just like so. And I'm not going to add one at the top up here just yet. I'm going to come back down to the bottom. I'm going to add my double chest, just like so. Boom. And I'm going to do the same thing on the rest of these. And I have my basic layout set up and ready to go. Next step is very simple. It's to grab your hoppers, come around to the back, and on the back of each one of these, I'm going to shift click to add a hopper facing in to the block that I have. So the only one you're really going to have to shift click for is the chests, and they can be kind of tricky. Just take your time and you'll be fine. Especially if you're in creative mode. If you're in survival mode, this is going to be a very difficult build, but it'll pay dividends so quickly. So we're going to come up, third row, down, 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 just like so. Boom. Good. So this is the basic layout for the back here. I have all of my hoppers running down. Now, we're not quite done yet, because what we're going to do is on the back of each one of these, we're going to come right underneath this last hopper. And on this row, I'm going to add a row of hoppers, just like so. All facing into each other, just like this. And I'm going to add one final hopper that's going downwards into this, just like this. And I'm going to do this for each row that I have. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is the basis for which we shall build our advanced item sorter. Hopefully you've been following along up to this point, because this is actually one of the hardest parts, is getting this done. Now, at this point, feel free to remove your building blocks here. They don't have to be here. Right now, they're just there for aesthetic purposes or to be placeholders for when we put our hoppers in. But the next step that we're going to do here is we're going to come to each of our rows that is just below the chest, and I'm going to create this little platform right here. So it's one block next to our hopper, and then 4 more, just like so. And then I'm going to come to the next row, and I'm going to do the same thing. Come out 3 on one side, 2 on the other, 3 on one side, 2 to the other. Just like this. Now, I'm going to continue to do this, going up, leaving a row in between each one. Alright, and ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. This is the basic design for what this should look like. Notice how everything looks exactly the same, and it's all very nice and tidy. Now, we're going to focus on this first section over here, and we're actually going to do something a little crazy. So, we're going to get rid of this block, and we're actually going to get rid of this hopper. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come over here, and I'm going to build up 2 blocks, just like this, and build out so I have a block facing out. And this may seem crazy, but you're going to see why in just a second. I'm going to take a chest, place it directly on top of this hopper, and then once I have the chest directly on top of this hopper, I'm going to take a dropper, not a dispenser, and I'm going to place it just like this. And I want to aim right for the corner here, just like this. So that way when I place it, the face is facing down. That way when I come back and I look around, I cannot see the face anywhere on this dropper. And the dropper is going to be monumentally important for what we're doing here. Okay, so I have my dropper, I have my chest underneath of it, and this is going to be kind of my basic item sorting system here. Now, we're going to focus on this section because it differs from everything else for just a second. So I'm going to grab a comparator, and I'm going to throw this comparator out the back, set into subtract mode, just like so. And once I've done that, this top layer, you're going to have to add about 2 more blocks to it. You're going to add a block here. You're going to grab some redstone dust. You're going to add redstone, redstone. And we're going to do something kind of crazy. We're going to add redstone on top of this block here, or on top of this redstone, breaking this into 2 dots. And then I'm going to add another piece of redstone on top of my comparator. So I'm going to go just like this. I want it to look just like this. I'm going to put another piece or another block right here. I'm going to grab a redstone repeater this time. And I'm going to throw a redstone repeater facing this direction, making sure that it is set to a tick speed of 4, the highest possible tick speed. And then I'm going to throw a piece of redstone dust, just like so. Now what this is going to do is this is going to create a simple little redstone clock for us that makes it so our dropper continues to drop over and over and over and over and over again. So this section's a little bit different. That's why we covered this first. Now, before we move on to anything else, it would be silly of us to do anything without talking about how in the world do I get items up here. Because if you're playing this in a survival world, you're not going to have time to come up here and click and just add all of your items in here. It's going to take forever. So we're going to create a very simple item dropper system right over here. All we're going to do is we're going to take 2 chests, just like so. I'm going to dig out a couple blocks below. I'm going to take some hoppers, drop them back, just like this. I'm going to drop another one right here. Let me replace that block. My hoppers are going to go into a dispenser right here, and I want my dispenser facing this direction, just like this. I'm going to take in underneath of this, I'm going to place a piece of soul sand, just like so. I'm going to take my glass, and I'm going to create a nice little bubble elevator right here. So we're just going to go up, just like so. And you're just going to keep going up until you are in line with your dropper over here. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take some hoppers and feed them directly into your hopper until they meet up right here. Now this next step, this is very important. If you don't do this, you're going to end up with a mess everywhere. I'm going to take some glass and I'm going to run it exactly all the way around, just like this. I want to make sure that no water gets out of here whatsoever. Now, this is where things differ slightly depending on whether you're playing creative or survival Minecraft. If you're playing survival, I would recommend getting some kelp. If not, I would recommend getting a lot of water buckets. Because what you're going to do is you're going to come down to the bottom here, and you're going to place water on each of these blocks, making sure it's a source block. And you'll notice that when we get to the top, this is going to flow right over here onto this hopper. This is going to be how our items get transported up to the top. So from this point, all I have to do is place items in the bottom down here, and they'll automatically end up at the top. Before I do anything else, though, I would be very remiss not to tell you that you need to put some smooth stone slabs over the top of this. If not, your items will go flying everywhere, and you will lose about 90% of everything that you have. So this is your standard bubble elevator, and we're actually going to be using this quite a bit. So get used to making this over and over again. The only other thing that we need to do here is we need to power this. And to power this, we're going to make a nice simple redstone clock. And when I say simple, I mean this is about the simplest redstone clock you're ever going to see. You're going to take redstone dust at the corners. You're going to take a repeater set to a tick speed of 3, just like so. Repeaters all the way in the empty spaces. Boom, boom, boom. Extra redstone dust right here, just like this. And this should be running directly in here. I'm going to take my redstone torch. I'm going to use this to very quickly put it down, take it off, and you can hear it's working. From this point, anything that I throw in here will get shot up in the bubble elevator. It will get put into the hoppers, dropped into our dropper, and it'll be ready to go. Now, let's move on to each of these modules. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, now that we have our bubble elevator set up here, so that way we have a way for our items to get transported up to the dropper, we have our dropper redstone set up. We need to set up the redstone for the remaining levels here. Now, I'm going to show you one of these, and the rest of them are all exactly the same. They're very, very, very simple. So, if we look, we're going to need, for this section, we're going to need a redstone comparator, we're going to need a block, a redstone torch, a repeater, and we're going to need a piece of redstone, in that order. And the way this goes is I go comparator, don't need to set it to anything. I'm going to take a block here, I'm going to take a redstone torch output, I'm going to take a redstone repeater set to a tick speed of 2.
Hey guys, little goof here. So I just said that this should be set to a redstone tick of 2. It should actually be set to a redstone tick of 3. If you set it to a redstone tick of 2, it's not going to work properly, and you're only going to have some of your materials get put into the chest instead of all of them in there.
And I'm going to take a piece of redstone and stick it out. What this is doing is this is creating an item filter for us. This means that anything that is in this chest is the only thing that will go into this chest. It's not all just going to drop straight through down to the bottom. So this is the design and layout that you need to copy on every other layer that you're using for this. So for me, I would copy this on all of the remaining layers down here, and all of the remaining layers down here, and all of the remaining layers down here, which is what I'm going to do. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Just like that, everything has been copied over to all of these other sections. And in real time, this only took me about 10 to 12 minutes to do. It's not that long of a process. And with that, we're almost done. The only thing we have left to do is create some more bubble elevators, some bubble item transport systems to be able to transport items from one section over here to the top of the other section. So let's get into exactly how this is done. First of all, I'm going to come over here, I'm going to drop down, I'm going to take my dispenser, throw it right here, just like this, and I'm going to throw in another hopper into the side of it. I want it facing directly into the side of my dispenser, just like this. I'm going to take, just like I did before, and use my glass to create another bubble elevator that goes all the way up to the top, just like so, making sure that before I get too far into this, I grab my soul sand, throw it down to the bottom here, and continue on upwards. Alright, and now that I'm up at the top here, I want to make sure that I get myself a nice, clean run into this hopper, or into this dropper over here. So I'm going to come over to my dropper, I'm going to drop down, right click to add in a hopper facing into it. I'm going to come back facing this way, and I'm going to shift click and add in some hoppers coming back just like so. Alright, and ladies and gentlemen, just like that, after we put our hopper into the side here, you're going to take some more hoppers and you're going to run them straight out in a line back here. Now, once you've got them back here, you're going to take and you're going to surround this area with glass, making sure that no water can escape. Once you've done that, if you're in creative mode, it's time to grab your water bucket, go down to the bottom, and make sure that every single one of these bad boys is a source block. And you will know if it's not, because your water elevator will not take you all the way up to the very top. And you'll notice that once you get to the top, your water is going to start running down this way. That's perfect. We want it to happen because we want it to run into the hoppers, taking them to the other side. Final step here is I need to take and add some slabs on the top. Now, if you're only doing a 2x system, this is pretty much the end here. This is all you need to do. But as you expand, you're going to need to add more bubble elevators to facilitate your needs. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this design right over here real quick, and then I will show you guys exactly how to hook this bad boy up. Small side note from my original design here, ladies and gentlemen. So as I started copying over this second section over here, I noticed that this section was slightly interfering with it. So if you run into that problem, you have one of two options. You can space these out a little bit more, or you can just create a line back and then come over to where your bubble elevator will still work. So now that I'm over on the other side and I know a little bit better, I can continue to come over here and I can make sure that I don't make the same mistake again. So I can come back to this side, drop down here, and I could throw in one going this way, just to make things a little bit more cohesive and to make things, you know, a little bit more linear between everything that I'm doing so far. So if I just continue to add this in here just like this, you'll notice that, yeah, it's going to look pretty much exactly the same as the other side. Alright, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, this is pretty much ready to go. The only thing that we have left to do here is to power our two dispensers down at the bottom. So the easiest way to do that is to use our lovely redstone clock that we have going already. So all we need to do here is we need to drop a piece of redstone down below. We need to drop it down one more time, and we can actually do this by just running them in down here. We can hear the clicking, so we know that it works. Take it down below, and now we could hear both. Because if I take this one away, that one still works. So we know that both of our item elevators are working and they're ready to go. This will be completely sufficient. So let's talk about how this works real quick. And in order for us to do that, I need to fill these chests up real quick. Alright, and here we have it, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, the final product. The only thing that I forgot to mention is that you need to make sure that you have some slabs on top of this for the same reason that we have them over here. If you don't, everything's going to go flying out and you're going to lose just about everything you have. So let's talk about how this works. In each of these chests, I have it completely filled with the items that I want sorted. So for example, this chest has nothing but 3 separate types of wood. This chest has 3 types of wood. This chest has granite. This chest has stone. This has andesite and dispensers, redstone and torches, redstone repeaters and comparators, hoppers, and we have stone bricks over here. Now, in order to do this, you're just going to take whatever block you have. So for example, if I'm using glass, and you're just going to go and fill the entire chest up with it. That way there's no room for anything else to go in here, because any open slot will be taken up by an available item. So these 2 chests down at the bottom here have nothing in them. This should be where the rest of our items go. If I come over to my dispenser chest over here, I drop everything that I have in here. You should hear it in the background getting shot up and out, just like so, getting thrown down into our hoppers, or our droppers, and getting thrown down into, hopefully, the correct chest. So what you should see happening here, ladies and gentlemen, is you should see your items getting shot up to the top. They should be dropping down into the hoppers. Once they're in the hoppers, they're going to go into the dropper, and the dropper should be sorting them into the correct chest based off of what they are. So for example, if we look in here right now, we can see that there's nothing in there, but we see redstone and redstone torches are coming up. They should be going down in. We should see them drop through here, and if it doesn't have a chest, it should be dropping down into one of these empty chests down here. Alright, and there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. After just a little bit of fiddling, we have everything working here. One thing that you'll need to make sure of is on this item elevator, check and make sure it's working. If it's not, you may want to replace the top. Instead of with slabs, replace it with glass or some sort of block like that to make sure that your items don't go flying out, but at the same time to make sure that the bubble elevator still works. And you'll see that some of these items go up pretty slowly, and then they get shot up and burst just like that. That's fine, as long as they don't go flying out of the top. Everything's gonna work. But if we look here, we can see that everything is indeed being sorted into the correct chest, and if it doesn't have a chest, it's being sorted over to here. This is our final chest, so you can see that we have more chests coming in here, just like that. But what's happening here is items are coming through here, up and out the top, over, through the dropper, checking for the correct chest. If it's not there, item elevator, to the next side, check for a chest. If it's not there, it gets sent up to the 3rd row, down, and in. Which right now, the only item that we have that's not currently being sorted correctly is the chest itself. Kind of shocking. But this is an advanced piece of redstone technology here. But if you can make this work, ladies and gentlemen, this is a fantastic item to have on your world, whether it be creative, survival, multiplayer server, anything like that. It's gonna take quite a bit of materials, but it's definitely worth it in the end. But unfortunately, with that, I am all out of time for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful or if you enjoyed it, please make sure and give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below. Let me know if this worked for you, or if you think I'm crazy for trying to set something like this up. And if you really liked everything, consider subscribing, because it helps out the channel, and you get to see more of the awesome content that we have going on here. So, thank you guys again so much for watching. I'm DK. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!